Welcome to Testify. Today we take a look at the book of Micah. Micah, a minor prophet, came from the southern kingdom of Judah, in a town called Morsheth. This was around the same time that Isaiah was in Jerusalem. As we all know, that after King Solomon, the northern and southern kingdoms of Israel had split. One of Micah's warnings were that God would turn Assyria against northern Israel and Babylon against southern Judah. Although most of the book of Micah warns of God's judgment, the book is also a message of hope, a message of restoration, that God would one day bring about. Micah chapter 1-4. Accusing Israel's leaders of injustice. Chapter 1 and 2, Micah warns of God's judgment to Israel and its leaders. Chapter 1 describes how God will bring judgment on them for over 500 years' worth of rebellion. Micah gives us a list of towns and cities in Israel, like Shapir, Gath, Jerusalem, Lachish, and Adullam, that were the culprits of all this rebellion, and he says that God is coming for them. Why? Micah is directing this message to Israel's leaders. He says that they've become wealthy through theft and greed, comparing it to a story of Ahab and Jezebel stealing a family vineyard from Naboth. Israel's prophets are equally corrupt, as they are offering promises of God's protection to people for a price. Micah tells them that this is the reason that God has withdrawn his protection from Israel. In chapters 3-4, Micah tells us how the leaders and prophets have run the land with bribes, and bend the law to favor the wealthy, depriving the poor of their land, their security, and eventually, their hope. He reflects on how this goes against the laws of the Torah. According to the Torah, it is illegal to sell land belonging to families, including poor ones. The judgment God is going to bring will include Assyria and Babylon taking down the northern and southern Israel. The book doesn't end here but gives us a promise of hope. He then uses poems to describe how God, who is like a shepherd, will rescue his people, the remnant. He will be their God and they will be his people. He says that the destroyed temple in Jerusalem is temporary because God will one day exalt his temple, fill it with his presence, and fill the city with the remnant of his people. Micah chapter 4b-5. Hope for restoration under the Messianic king. Micah speaks of the Assyrian attack, and how Israel will be exiled to Babylon, but God will eventually restore his people and bring them back to their land. Micah prophesies about the future Messianic king from the line of David will come to the New Jerusalem. He'll be born in Bethlehem and will rule in Jerusalem over the restored people of God. In the Messianic kingdom of God, the faithful remnant of God's people will be a blessing among the nations, when God will bring his final justice and remove evil from the world. Micah 6-7. Hope in God's mercy and redemption. The final chapters in the book are about warning followed by hope, like the opening chapters. Micah once again accuses Israel's leaders of economic practices that are destroying both the land and the people. In Micah chapter 6 verses 8, he explains to Israel what it means to follow their God. He has told you, O human, what is good, and what the Lord requires of you, to do justice, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. He gives the final verdict by saying that Israel has not been doing any of this and so will come to ruin. Micah personifies Israel as an individual, sitting alone in shame and defeat. It's a painting of Israel's destruction and exile. The author begs God for mercy. Why should God have mercy on Israel? Yes, because God is a God of mercy and promises. The final words in the book are a reminder of God's promises to Abraham, that all nations will find God's blessing through Abraham and his family. To qualify, Israel must be faithful to their God. If God's going to bless the nations through Israel, then he must first confront and judge the evil among his people. This judgment is actually a source of hope because his covenant love and promise are more powerful than human evil. God's purpose is not to destroy but to save and redeem. God delights in love, so he will show his mercy once again to his people. That brings us to the end. Please join us for more.